Okay, sorry about this, guys. Just getting set up. Just want to take a look at everything. Anybody tuning in, just getting set up. We'll get started here in just a moment, so bear with me, please. We just want to make sure everything is going well, and then I can see all of you guys posting in the chat. So bear with me 1 second. I'm going to kind of release this all to everybody too. Take a look and see how this looks. Can everybody hear me? Perfect, that sounds good. Alright, well, just another moment while I kind of release this everywhere, let everybody know that we are live. It is 7 o'clock, so we'll get started momentarily. If you're just watching this and it's not live, skip through this, go ahead. We'll get to the discussion later. I've got a couple of things I want to discuss. So if you bear with me 1 second, we will get that going. So I'm going to just share this to the old Facebook that we are live. Okay, got that out there. Perfect. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to throw it in the chat and we'll discuss it with y'all. I'm in a little bit of a new setting. I thought I'd try this out. I apologize, a little bit cluttered. Doing some cleaning, but this is about as clean as this room's been in a long time. So I do hope you guys enjoy. The lighting looks okay. This is a lot more comfy chair than the one I was in last time we did a live stream. But yeah, so the topic of this live stream I kind of wanted to touch on. Not too long ago, I don't know if any of you follow J.R. Raymond at all. He's a tour bowler. Or his YouTube channel. He has a good YouTube channel. I'd definitely suggest you take a look. He works at the Turbo Tech Center. Puts out a lot of great content on coaching, so I definitely take a look at that. And if you need to get better, that's the place to do it. And he's got a lot of knowledge of what's going on tour and physical games, stuff like that. So I definitely suggest taking a look at his channel. But anyway, he posted a video on his channel talking about how Tom Doherty and himself, he didn't take Tom Doherty's comments 100%. But they suggested that amateur bowlers should not be able to bowl for money. I put my personal comments in there, and you guys can definitely go check them out. I put a really long, lengthy story pretty much on there. But him and I had a little bit of a conversation about it, and it was really nice to get that feedback from him. So I kind of want to reach out to you people, my following, and see what your guys' opinions are of this. How you feel about amateur bowling. Do you bowl for money, like as an amateur? Like these amateur tournaments, the one I just did, the Miller Masters, the Reigning 10, those kind of tournaments. Do you guys bowl those? And if so, do you think we should keep those as amateur tournaments or classify them as professional? Him and I had a little bit of a conversation what he really meant by professional. I was a bit confused by that because it raises a lot of issues. With me personally, I'm not ready to go on tour, and I still like bowling for money. The competition money's there, and it's a good feeder system into the PBA Tour, I believe. But I'm personally not ready to get to that level, and I don't have the funds or time to commit, to buy a membership and then be paying $500 entry fees to a tournament I'm just going to get blown out of the water or have to BTQ into. So that's just not really where I'm at, and I think amateur bowling fills a giant gap. So there's a really big gap. So this is my observation, and I want to hear you guys' opinions, because I'm in Utah, and out west bowling isn't massive like it is, not massive, but it's not as big here as it is back east. So I definitely want to hear you guys' opinion on this. Then we can definitely have a discussion on this. But from what I see, the gap between good amateur bowlers and decent PBA bowlers is huge. It's really big. One is time. Good amateur bowlers can't practice, and they don't bowl on good sport shots constantly. Another is there's not a good feeder system, in my opinion. So I like to compare bowling and golf a lot. I think they're very similar sports. It's like you bowl a tournament as a single, like you're not as part of a team, it's not a team sport or anything like that. And you bowl tournaments, and you golf tournaments, right? And at the tour level, there's a lot. I mean, they're great, right? Your club pro is nothing on a tour guy. Tour guy will hit it 50 yards further. He'll hit it in the fairway 10 more times, and he'll hit the green regulation. Boom, 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 boom. He's got all these strokes gained topics. And I really follow golf, and if you're into that kind of stuff, I suggest like Mark Crossfield or something has a great video on that strokes gained concept. The pro is just better in every facet, right? And a lot better. But what you don't see is guys that are on the web.com tour and the PGA tour. The gap isn't very big. Just kind of like AAA baseball and MLB. The gap's not huge. I mean, people from web.com, like Cameron Champ, boom, he's going and wins on PGA tour really fast, right? And they have the skills. I don't think the PBA has that. The regional tour, you have, and obviously there's good regional bowlers, but PBA guys go and bowl them, and they do well, they win them, right? And a lot of the tour guys, like not even just the top 10 tour guys, a lot of tour guys, they have to bowl them, and I get it, because they need the money, right? They need to bowl all the time to make a sustainable income, which we'll get to that, because I think that's the biggest glaring issue with professional bowling and amateur bowling right now, is the pay. But I don't think there's a good enough feeder system if you make amateur bowling professional, in the sense of how I first thought. Okay, I don't think it's a good enough feeder system into the PBA tour if you get rid of that and then pay here in the PBA tour. You either bowl PBA events or you don't bowl for money at all. I don't think that's okay. I don't think that'll work, because that's not how other sports do it. They don't have, well, even in golf, I mean, I can go play in my club, my men's league, and I can win a little bit of money, and the club championship is a little bit of money. So I get it. Okay, it's not a lot of money. So J.R. Raymond brought up a point of, the Bradley Open, that's 15 grand to the winner, and an amateur tournament is not part of a PBA event. And that's as much as you make in a PBA event. So that, to me, that's a little bit, I'm not okay with that. I think that should be a professional event. And we'll get to some of my ideas later, because I think my ideas are cool, and I'd love to implement them and see where that went. But I don't think that's okay. But amateurs can make money, and I just threw out a number of $2,000 out there. So again, yeah, please throw in the comments or chat. Any questions you have, comments. I want to kind of have a good discussion here and answer some questions. So please do so if you're watching this, and even if you're not watching this live, please do so, and I will answer them. I try to make sure I answer everybody that comments, because I think engaging with you guys is so important, and it makes us all better as a community. But as far as amateur tournaments, so him and I had a conversation, and I set kind of the standard here that the PGA Tour has a feeder system into it, MLB feeder system, college football and professional football, bang bang, right there. And PBA has the regional tour, but it's not very big. You don't make enough money on it to do it professionally. Like that's it. That is all you do. Because when you're on the web.com tour, when you're on the PGA tour, and when you're in AAA baseball, and when you're in college football, that is all you do. More than 60%, well, I don't want to go that far. I'd say 50% of the PBA bowlers, not regional tour bowlers, PBA bowlers cannot just do that full time. They don't make enough money. Um, so what we have here is calling that a profession, and you can't just live off of it, right? This is that glaring issue of money. Um, what golf does is that they have a feeder system into that league, so it's not as high risk. Okay, still very very high risk, and there's still amateur tournaments, okay, that you can play in. You can still earn money, like mini tours. I think Andrew Jensen does a really good job of vlogging those. But if you're interested in that, definitely check out his channel too. But like mini tours, they have tournaments all around the state amateur. I mean, they have a lot of tournaments. You can win one money, play on very difficult courses, and play against very good competition. Right? Tony Finau won the state amateur. Zach Blair won the state amateur. Right? Preston Summerhays, Daniel Summerhays' kid, will probably be in the PGA Tour. He's very good. Okay, these kids have an outlet to play against real good competition, and then boom, they're in. So college bowling is one, right? But college bowling isn't an NCAA sport for the men, so there's a big issue there. And you could bowl, but it's not it's not NCAA sport. And I have a little bit of an issue with that too. I mean, I wish it was, obviously, but it's not. So without that, where do kids go like myself? And now this is just completely personally me. I went and chose to play baseball instead of bowl, and now what I do, right? Like, I just go out on tour. So just thinking back, if I was really into golf and I didn't golf, collegiately, at this point, I could get really good, play in the state amateur, and then when the Web.com tour comes to Utah and I feel good enough, I can play in the Monday qualifier and bang, get put in the field. And if I win that, boom, I'm on my way to getting a tour card and playing on the PGA Tour. Bowling, you have to commit to buying a tour card now, right? Anybody can do it, but you gotta buy it. And then with that, the biggest issue I have with all of this, making you go professional if you want to earn money, is most amateur tournaments, a lot of them, don't allow you to be a professional to bowl in them. Now, that's here in Utah. That's here out west, where about where I'm at. So definitely, please correct me if I'm wrong. But amateur tournaments, they're paying $500 to $3,000 for first place guaranteed. ABTs, you cannot be a touring professional. Now, there's a big market of people that buy bowling balls, that buy product, that bowl in these tournaments who are not good enough to be professional. They bowl this ball, this ball, this ball. They buy them all, right? They buy Ebonite, they buy EBI, all of that equipment. And I'd say most of those bowlers make up a giant piece of the market, right? So I think that's a huge thing that we're missing as a sport, is missing the industry side, right? Golf wants this because they don't make money off the tour guys. The tour guys don't go into the tour truck and buy a set of clubs, right? It's given to them because they generate the revenue from people like me who go buy clubs because I'm not a professional. So when we see E.J. Tackett win, when we see Jason Belmonte win, and see all these guys, Norm Duke win, we go and buy those balls because they're winning with them, right? And the people who buy those balls are your good league bowlers, because your average league bowlers don't usually buy balls, right? A lot. They obviously buy some, but they don't usually buy a lot. Here in Utah, I don't really know what it's like out east, but here in Utah, that's how it is. But it's guys like me, and just a bit below my skill level, and everybody above that goes up to the PBA Tour. We're buying this stuff. We're making the ball companies money. We're watching the PBA Tour, right? We're the one generating most of the revenue for the sport of bowling. Is these people that bowl for a little bit of money and competitively because we think it's fun, right? We like to bowl competitively. We like to compete. We like to bowl, so we bowl competitively. We generate a lot of revenue from ball companies, and I think that's a big missed factor here. That if we got rid of, we wouldn't really be able to afford. The ball companies at least. So please let me know what you think of that, because I think that's a big issue, and I don't think they really discussed that, Tam Doherty, J.R. Raymond, because I don't think they maybe have lost some perspective on that. But I have to buy my equipment, right? And it puts a lot of people in business when I'm buying my equipment because of that. Because I want to be better. I want to have more equipment that does a lot of different things, that's new, that reacts better, all these different things. I want that, and I buy that, and that's who's generating revenue in the market. Is me and people like me that bowl amateur tournaments. And the people who bowl handicap. Now that's a different story, handicap tournaments. I also want to touch on that because that's a really interesting player in this is handicap tournaments. Professionally, you cannot bowl a handicap tournament. I mean, that's 100% my opinion. If you're going to be a professional, you can't bowl this handicap tournament. So, some ideas that we talked about, JR and I. So I was a bit confused on this. So it's like, they said something to like, if you want to bowl professionally, you need to buy a card, some kind of membership, right? To like a $200. I don't know if he might have been spitballing here, but he said $200 membership, I believe, is what it was in the comments. I personally think that's really hefty, and I think it would turn a lot of people away. To bowl in a tournament, say you make more than $2,000, you have to buy this card, tour card, whatever it is, to bowl in this tournament. I think that would turn a lot of people away. Probably not me, but I think these people that go bowl one or two, right, because they live in the area where the tournament's being held, would be turned away. They wouldn't come. So that I have an issue with, is the membership card being that expensive. I could see, for the Storm Northwest Tour, we pay sometimes like $3 extra or something, $5 extra for points. Now, I can definitely see like 20, 30, 40, $50 of a membership, right? That makes sense to me. To earn that money. And then what golf also does is, say you're not a member and you don't want to become a member, this is strictly this membership topic, right? You don't win the full prize fund. Okay, so say if you don't buy the card, your maximum you can win to win the tournament is $500, and the rest goes to the, it'll stair step down. But anything that was reserved for professionals, right, who bought the card, it's paid to the highest placing, the professional. I think that's a good idea. I just thought that actually, but I think that would fix some of these issues. And that's what golf does. And then golf also charges a different entry fee for non-professionals. There's a lot that goes into it that I've done some research on. I don't know if they actually do. And J.R. Raymond just kind of pulled, like, he wasn't really prepared to really give a deep conversation, I don't think, about this, because he didn't do a whole lot of research on golf, which is fine, because I still think this is a really cool topic that we should talk about. And one thing I want to make clear, not to go way off topic of membership, but something does need to change. Well, we're going to be stagnant in this position of amateur and bowling as in general. We won't be able to ever get in the Olympics. We won't ever progress as a professional sports unless we do something. So I'm open to whatever it is. What is something? I don't know. Let's figure it out. So memberships. I think that's a decent idea. It can't be that expensive, because you're going to turn away, like I said, that local guy that lives in the area that's going to want to bowl for fun. Limit maybe they pay a $50 entry fee and they can make $500. Boom. Professionals, we have to pay the $150 fee, but we can make the $3,000 if we win, right? So I get that. I think that's a cool concept. But like I said, that may turn people away. And what you could do with this membership, and this is my idea to him when I started kind of catching on to what he was meaning by all of this, was maybe, we use this like a AAA, like a web.com tour. That's a feeder system. So maybe we don't allow PBA bowlers, we tier off the PBA. So PBA Tour, the PBA Tour, PGA Tour, PBA Tour, the regional tour, web.com tour, and then you call it whatever you want, but the tier 3 tour, this is what, something that I would bowl on, all these amateurs that bowl a lot for money. This would be their tour. And, maybe regional bowlers can come bowl these. I think that's okay. You can go and sit down. But you're like a state tour member. And then the PBA adopts that. I think this was my idea. The PBA and the USBC adopt this and come to an agreement on this. And the USBC says, look, you can't have a sanctioned event unless you require, if your tournament pays over $2,500, say, or $3,000. You're required to mark this as a professional event if the winner receives over $2,000, $2,500, $3,000 to mark this as a professional event, or else we don't sanction this tournament. And they have to be stern on this, because my issue is if we take away, we make those people bowl professionally, and not all amateur tournaments are marked as professional, then now I'm limited to the tournaments I can bowl. So say we do that, okay? And the the state tour. I don't know what you'd call this game. I haven't really done a whole lot of thinking about it. But the state tour membership's like $50. Okay, the PBA takes those funds, puts into like a year-end prize fund, and the top 10 bowlers in that tour or state tour out of the nation, or say like top 50 bowlers in points, go bowl a tournament, Vegas, name it. I don't care where it is. Go bowl a tournament, and top five of those earn a tour card, a regional tour card, or PBA tour card, whatever it is. Yeah, so I think that's a really cool membership idea. I think we just got chat. So B Taylor 007, you're good, man. I appreciate you throwing something in there. I'm doing all right. I just bowled. Just got back. Today's Monday after the Ring and 10. You guys are going to see that vlog probably Wednesday. I'm going to try to have it. I'm almost done with it now. I just want to make it really good. And should have it out by Wednesday. So you can take a look at how I did with that. But yeah, that's coming out. Thanks for asking, B. Taylor. I really appreciate it. Yeah, moving on from membership. So I think that's a cool idea. Memberships, top 50 earn a tour, go to a tournament, earn a tour card, winner wins whatever money they want. Not only does this benefit me, right? I have the opportunity to go do this, test my skills on PBA patterns, PBA sanctioned patterns, and bowl against good competition consistently. PBA adopts these tournaments, gives them maybe a little bit of funding potentially, gives them structure, gives them a scoring system, gives them rules, gives them like the re-rack rule, gives them lane courtesy rule, gives them all these infrastructure that the PBA already has, and implements them, and then maybe do a little funding. I don't know, something to that extent. And they can do giveaways and really promote the PBA down here, maybe have an appearance or something like that. I think that'd be really cool. And then take those funds for a year-end tournament as added funds, and boom, top 10, make it earn a tour card or whatever it is. I think that's a cool idea. Next is money, and I think this is the biggest issue with professional bowling right now. I was doing some research online, and let me see if I can actually pull it up on the money list on the PBA so far this year. And we can even go back. Oops. You can even go back a couple years, like 10 years, if we want, because the PBA keeps all of this, which is really cool. But money is, in my opinion, the biggest issue with professional bowling right now. Back in the glory days, you'd make $250,000 to win the world championships. And how much do you win now? Like 30 grand. So that's a bit rough, and it's not sustainable. And it's especially not sustainable at the lowest level. Not necessarily the lowest level, but like the bottom 80% of PBA bowlers. How are you going to earn enough money to do this constantly, paying for entry fees? Now, I don't have all details on this. I don't know if they actually if staffed guys pay for their entry, but at some point they have to have a bottom line. I don't know how much all these guys pay for hotel, food, bowling, tournaments, all that stuff. I don't know any of those expenses. So please correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I don't know that. But for me personally, I'm going out on tour right now. I'm going to bowl the Masters. The entry fee is $500. I'm going to be under probably $1,500 going to Vegas and bowling that tournament, right? Because of hotel, whatever. So maybe I can get that to $1,000, but just totally half of that is just in the entry fee. Now I go and do that, and I'm like, this is it. That's what I'm going to do because I need to commit the time, to practice and stuff, and then go on tour and leave and all that good stuff. When do I break even? I don't know. You know what I mean? I have to, cash, and I don't know if I'm good enough to cash even one tournament at this point. So this is a really difficult subject, and I've got this pulled up, so sorry I've been a little bit distant, but I got this pulled up. So currently right now, of course, I don't think this is any surprise, but look at old Belmo is number one on the money list as of the 24th. So yesterday, he has $197,000. He's flown high. That's awesome. Good for him, man. EJ Tackett is in second place, and he's got 73,000. That in no way is bad. Awesome for the guy. Okay, but that is over $100,000 gap, and that should attribute to how good Jason Belmonte's bowling right now. It's absolutely amazing. But that gap shouldn't be so big, and it not necessarily isn't. It's not. And mostly is because Justin Belmonte is bowling absolutely amazing. But it's the lack of money at the lower end of the tournament. Like top 16 get a check, and how many people enter that tournament? What kind of percentage of people are getting a check? So you go down the list, EJ Tackett, let's go to top 10. So you got Jason Belmonte, EJ Tackett, Anthony Simonson, Jacob Buttroff, Norm Duke, Bill O'Neill, Dick Allen, Christopher Prather, Tom Doherty, and Kyle Sherman. Kyle Sherman in 10th with $43,000. So now, I mean, when did they start this? I think it was late last year. But those are great numbers, right? Those are sustainable incomes, okay? So don't get me wrong. But that's the top 10. Kyle Sherman's at $43,000, okay? And then let's go to top 20. Jesper Svensson, top 20, $27,000. Again, this is on pure winnings. I don't know about what kind of deals they have with their ball companies or any other company, what kind of endorsements they sign anywhere. I really don't know these figures, so I don't want the people to quote me like, you're down here. I don't know those numbers. Basing strictly on what I know, which is Jesper Svensson has made $27,000 so far. That's not enough to live off of. It's not enough to live off of. Now let's go to top 30. That's Matt O. 16,000. It's not enough to live off of. Let's go top 40. Tommy Jones, 10,000. And then top 50. So that's top 50 of 105. That's Brad Angelo at $7,000. So there's some good names down here. Let's go over them. So Brad Angelo, good bowler, 50th. Jason Sterner, Ryan Schaefer, Scoop Palermo, AJ Johnson, Tommy Jones, Michael Tang. And these are great bowlers that aren't making a whole lot of money. I'm not trying to. What they're doing is awesome, and I love bowling, and I love that they are bowling because I wish I could be them. Right? I wish I could be touring like they were because that's really cool. And please don't misconstrue this as I'm saying they're not making a lot of, like them personally as a knock on them because they're not making any money. What that shows me is there's just not a lot of money down there. If you don't make a cut, if you don't get a check, then you're out $1,000 in hotel, entry fee, food, all of it, right? And then you're going on to the next stop and paying another $500, okay? So my issue is there's not enough money at the lower levels to justify us moving up. So say I even start bowling this state tour, this third tier tour. What's my incentive to go bowl regionals? Well, maybe I can bowl a few regionals. I get my regional card and bowl a few regionals that are like me. It's close to me, right? This is just because I'm on the West Coast. There's definitely more on the East Coast, right? What's my incentive to bump up? And now I can't bowl. So say say that I get my tour card, PBA tour card. It's hypothetical. I get my PBA tour card, and now I cannot bowl down into the state tour. What's my incentive then to go do that? Because I don't know, one, if I'll make it, if I'll ever cash, and if I do, how great will I be? Top 50 bowlers in the world right here. Like that's the top 50 bowlers in the world, right? And they're making $7,000. Am I in the top 50? Am I in the top 50 bowlers in the world? Or how many of your kids are top 50 bowlers in the world? 50 bowlers in the world. Okay, I'm not talking about the top 10% of all baseball players, because that's a couple thousand. I'm talking about the top 50 bowlers right now. That's not a lot, and that's not a lot of money for the top 50 bowlers. I think they should be getting paid more, and I get it. Hey, it's hard to bring in sponsorship money. I think what Fox is doing right now for the PBA Tour is awesome. I think production value is up. Rob Stone is awesome. I love his enthusiasm and his energy when he's calling. The tournaments have been great. They've been a bunch of drama. I've been enjoying watching them a lot more. And maybe getting more people to bowl and buy these memberships and stuff will increase that. We've got to find a way to get money in the PBA Tour. Got to find a way to have incentive for kids to bowl. So I'm a 15-year-old junior bowler. I like to bowl. Why do I pursue it professionally? You should say because you love bowling, right? Because you love to bowl. But realistically, if you're not top 50 in the world, you're not going to make it any kind of income, and you'll have to work a day job. And to me, if you're working a day job, you're not bowling professionally. So to make this professional, it's got to have some kind of way to make a sustainable income, right? It's got to have something. And some guy brought a good example that Tiger Woods jumped winnings for PGA golfers. I think that's a good point. We've got to have something like that that brings up the funds, that give us incentive to make bowling cool, to get kids bowling, collegiately, to get them bowling at youth levels, then on to like the state tour, regional tour, PGA tour. I think that's really important. I had a question come in from Luke Cathy. What's up, Luke? Good hearing from you, buddy. It says, what about sponsorships? How much of a role do sponsorships play, if any? If they do sponsor bowlers, wouldn't that help cost of travel and tournaments and expenses? I think you're correct, especially, like Jason Belmonte, these big-time bowlers. I'd be interested to see if maybe what Kyle Sherman and Brad Miller get on this. I don't know if maybe it's hush-hush and part of their contracts, which most likely it is. So I don't know. I don't know, Luke. I'm pretty certain it helps. I'm pretty sure they don't have to pay entry fees when you're Tommy Jones level, top 50. And you don't have to pay for your equipment, I don't think. Again, I don't know. Okay, I've never been there, so I don't know. I don't think, because they have a lot of balls, so I don't think they have to pay for their balls. And I don't think they have to pay for their entry fees. But I do think it's on them for like travel and stuff like that, but I could be totally wrong. And if you're doing this professionally on tax forms, all that can be written off. It's kind of stuff like that. But I do think sponsorship does definitely help. Especially with like equipment. Definitely equipment helps. And this is a big expense for me too, is what you see in front of you. So that does help. And I think that's the biggest key in helping this funding crisis bowling has is sponsorships. We got to get more invested. And the prize money of a major being $30,000 is rough. And that's rough. And I think we can all agree on that. I'm not dogging on any professional bowler. What they're doing is amazing. And again, if I could, I definitely would, and it wouldn't matter. If I could be in the top 50 bowlers in the world, I definitely would, and I would tour around and do it. And plus, they're bowling other small tournaments like that Bradley Open. They're winning some money there, making cash, bowling the Open Championship, stuff like that. But I think my idea is a viable one, but it has to be like that. It can't be. You can't win any money as an amateur, because if you have to pro professionally at the highest level, then it's going to turn a lot of people away. And those people, like I said, are the ones buying this equipment. So, I think that's really important. And I appreciated the feedback. That was a great question, Luke, so we can go into that. Yeah, let me know what you have. Let's continue this conversation. You got my idea, to have the PBA kind of adopt these tournaments, like the Storm Northwest Tour, those kind of mini tours, adopt them. Get the funding behind them. Get the infrastructure behind them. Maybe not, it doesn't have to be a lot of funding. Okay, just maybe a little bit of added pride. Maybe even like I said, the top professional or the winner earns $500 extra bucks from the PBA tour, or wins, whatever it is, an exemption. Fleshing out the details is something I definitely do if it was worth it and it was gonna, turn into something. I'd be all for it. But having this tour, requiring people to buy, a cheaper membership, something that doesn't cost a whole lot of money, that will still keep people in, but give funding, into the tour, get the PBA on board, to get them, giving interest, get the USBC on board, requiring this to happen to sanction the tournament, and then having that progression, like all other major sports do. Something bowling doesn't have. You just can go bowl tournaments, right? I mean, you have college, but after that, and the college level isn't huge like college football. And it's it is the best feeder system into the PBA tours, college bowling. But there definitely has to there has to be other outlets, just like golf. I compare it heavily to golf, and I think that's the biggest thing. Like Jake Mill, that's a great time. Thanks, Coach Mills. Appreciate that question. It's extremely comparable, I think. I play golf on my Thursday night league. I would say league bowling is very similar to that. Easy, cool. Like the course is super easy. You're playing with a handicap, all that stuff, and then when you start playing like the state amateur, that I think that's very comparable to what I'm comparing these bowling tournaments to. The issue with golf is those golf tournaments take a long time, and it's more expensive than like when you're doing a bowling tournament, you can fit 4 squads in a day, right? 18 holes takes whatever hours, so it's very comparable in my opinion to that. I think we need to follow golf's lead in how they run their tournaments and how they do their funding and how they do a lot of their things, because I think we're very similar sports, especially with how it's this singles tournament, you go play, and it breaks it down like that. It's not a team-based thing, so I think we need to follow suit on that. I've liked what the PBA has done so far, but I'd like to see more. I'd like to see a web.com tour-esque thing. I'd like to see more involvement from the PBA tour at these lower levels, and not forcing people to go bowl a regional, because the competition at the regional is also really good, right? It's better than at this point where I'm at than I can bowl, which I do eventually want to get to that point. But again, I'm a 15-year-old kid. I'm pretty good. But is it worth it? Is it worth making it to the next level and not making any money? And I think that's a big question. Realistically, we have to, I get it. Loving the sport is all for it. But realistically, that's not how it works. You've got to have some kind of sustainability in it. A mini tour, I think like I said, I think that lower level tour would be really awesome. So I'm glad there's some people on board with that. But I think that's a really important piece is giving people some kind of structured tour like that, because that's what we're on. I know a lot of people are bowling on that right now, and that's kind of what the Storm Northwest Tour is, and that's what I bowl on. But it's still considered an amateur tour. But having some kind of segue from this tour to the PBA, like the PBA is like, here, win this tour, be top 5 in points on this tour. Here's your card. Come bowl, and when you have your tour card, it's $250 for a tournament or something to that extent, making it that way. I know the PBA used to have exemptions, and I'm not too informed on exactly how all that worked with as far as pay, but I think when you get to a point, I think you need to almost guarantee paychecks, which I don't want to say guarantee because you still have to perform, but better than what it is now. And I think with this added money, if you have, say, PBA membership goes from 500 to 15,000, okay, because of all these amateur events that are sanctioned under the PBA tour. They're not. PBA tour members can't, like the PBA tour can't bowl on the state tour. But now you jump up your professional membership from 150 at the PBA tour level to 15,000, and it's 15,000. It's 10,000 people buying, these mini PBA tour cards. That's a lot of funding. That's a lot of involvement. And then that's a lot of people you can go to the Olympics with and say, hey, we've got 15,000 people as professional bowlers. So I think that's a really good idea. Luke, there are such things as pro-ams at the PBA Tour events. You can bowl with, like they have a pro bowl with you. It's a lot like a golf pro-am. I don't know if you've ever golfed one. Probably not, because they're not hard. They're not easy to get into. But it's very much like a golf pro-am where you play like a scramble game. They play 9-pin no tap. So if you get 9, it's a strike. So it's kind of quick. Very similar to something like that. Which I think is a cool taste bowl in the tournament pattern. You get to mingle with the PBA players, and they're really awesome. So I think that's a really cool thing that the PBA does. So those are my thoughts on the state of amateur bowling. I think it's in an okay place. I like where it's at, obviously, because I'm doing it. It's very low risk. Like, I can do that. I can go bowl like crap at tournaments and not be dead. Like, I can't do this anymore. I'm out, right? I can still go bowl another day. So what's that question? B. Taylor says, so are some people not pros making bowling their career or mainstream income? So J.R. Raymond said there are people, some people. I'm sure there's not very many, but he said there were some people that are making $60,000 or $70,000. How true that is, I'm not sure. But if it is true, there are people who are not professional bowlers making that kind of money. I personally don't think that's okay. I think at that point, you should be a professional, or should be counted as a professional making that kind of money, right? Going everywhere, bowling amateur tournaments. You know, it takes like maybe for people that are a step below me, it takes kind of the fun away from that. Why am I going to bowl against these people? Like I personally just think it's fun to bowl, but if you're going there to win, maybe it's not so fun because you're not going to win because those guys are good. But I believe there are some people like that. From what J.R. Raymond said, there are some people that are not pros that can make a living off of this. But yeah, those are my thoughts on it. I think having a mini tour that maybe is sanctioned by the PBA, I think that's a really cool idea that we can play with. Getting the USBC and the PBA on board will take a lot of effort with a lot of people, and I think if maybe we can get a lot of PBA tour players on board with this, we can definitely make a change and get membership up. I think if we get membership up, that will boost, you know, tour revenue. And I think we have to really be real with ourselves and realize that without us funding this, like it's never going to take off. So we might have to take some licks, and that as a bowling community, we just need to kind of accept that. That maybe some of our membership prices go towards, you know, PBA tournaments so they can have better sponsorship. But at this point, anything will help that, and I think we do need to do something. Those are my plans. There's just a couple of other things I wanted to do to wrap this up. It's been a really cool live stream, and I've loved that you guys have engaged. I really do appreciate it. The community's growing. It's been really awesome. A couple things coming up. One, like I mentioned, the Ring and 10 vlog is going to come out on Wednesday, so be looking out for that. Definitely be stay tuned. There's really cool stuff. I got really intense there for a little bit, so definitely stay tuned for that. I have a really big announcement that I'm going to be making. I'm hoping by the end of the week, and maybe early next week. It just kind of depends on when stuff falls into place. But when that happens, I'll probably be doing another live stream of that, because I really like having these discussions and conversing with this community. And I hope that, you know, if you're watching this not live, you should definitely take a look and throw comments in there and give me some dialogue so I can take this back to people that maybe I follow. But that big announcement, probably going to do a live stream there, and then just moving on. One announcement I do want to make. I'm really excited about this. I'm going to Nationals in June, bowl the USBC Open Championships, second or third weekend in June, third I think, third. While I'm there, Mike Jasnow, coaches professionals. I did schedule coaching with him, so I'm really excited about that. Try to get better that way. So that's one big announcement I'm giving you guys. Next one, hopefully end of the week, probably early next week sometime. Really cool announcement there. And then again, we're a quarter of the way there to the 1,000 subs when we get there, doing a giveaway. So please I got to think about what we're doing, see where we're at, and kind of what the community asks for. But we'll try to get to that point when we get closer to 1,000 subs. Maybe I'll do some kind of announcement when we get to like 900 or something. Jake Golden Spike. I'm not sure. And I'm not sure which one you're referring to, because I think there's a Golden Spike here in Utah too. I swear I bowled a tournament called the Golden Spike, but I don't remember. And I have to refresh my memory on that. Next weekend. Oh man, I'm way out of the loop, am I? Not even close. You know where it's at? In Ben Lomond Lanes? Ben Lomond? Is that the one you're talking about? So I've worked that tournament before. It's like a team singles and doubles event, correct? That's what I'm pulling up at least here, and seeing it's in April, the end of April. I'm not sure. Trying to find something on it here online. Yeah. Okay. Good. Having worried there. Potentially, if I can get a team together, it's team singles and doubles. So we will potentially, if I can get a team together, I'd probably be up for it. I don't really have anything going on. I don't really have any tournaments planned besides the USLAC finals, the final tournament of the USLAC. Been bowling well there, so hopefully I can keep that momentum going and win one and get the progressive pot. I keep missing out on one freaking game. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it if I could find a team and then, you know, go see what we can do there. But thanks, guys. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Stay tuned for the Ring 10 vlog and my big announcement that I've got coming up. I'm really excited for this one. It's a big step forward in the progression of building this community. I really appreciate all of you guys. It's been awesome seeing the growth of the channel being kind of exponential. So yeah, stay tuned, and I really appreciate it. Thanks, guys.